Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of Farmville, North Carolina, and we have moved the time forward into June, which has not caused problems per se, but definitely created some interesting circumstances. If we hop in here to our animal information, you can see we have 300 brand new piglets here. And that is because all three of these sets of 100 reproduced on the same month here. And so while these pigs are of different ages because they were born over time, you can see that slowly we start to get into a cycle where we're getting more and more pigs born at the same time that are going to grow up on that same schedule. And so as we continue with this farm, we're going to get bigger and bigger drops of pigs all on the same day here, especially if we were to let these continue now that these are in sync with each other. Even as I start to sell them off, we're gonna have a lot of hogs essentially. And as you can see, our food levels are dropping rapidly here with all of these hogs. We're up to a total of 1,000 out of the 2,400 hogs that this enclosure can hold. Honestly, it's not going to take that long. We get new hogs every 4 months, it looks like. So it's not going to take that long for us to get to a point where we're filling this barn up now. In fact, we'll probably get there by the end of the year, depending on how soon we sell some of these off. These ones that are already up to being worth $879, starting to feel like maybe I should sell these off just because I don't know if we're going to have the food to keep up with them. I didn't actually take a look at the food before I moved the day forward, so I don't know how much we just used up. We're going to give it one more cycle here, though. I did get the other ones to $1,000. I think if I let them go for one more burst cycle, we'll get them up to being worth $1,000 a pop. And in order to do that, we need to come up with a little bit more food here. And my idea for that, given that our corn harvest is still months away, we won't see our corn until, is it November that corn becomes available again? October. We can start our corn harvest here in October. And so we have to figure out how to survive from here in June all the way to October with what food we have left. Now, I think that the food in the bins is going to hold on for a little while, but not forever. But if we look down here, we have been using corn directly through the feed mill to create pig feed to give us this variety of crops, but we could feed them a little bit less efficiently on just base food and or grains. And so I'm thinking maybe we knock out some contracts, and that'll give us some wheat and barley. Canola, I think, is up for harvest right now. We see if we can kind of fill that gap a little bit to keep them going until we can get to more corn. And so today we're gonna grab one of these contracts and see if we get any excess barley off of this field. We're gonna grab the biggest one here because I don't think it's really that big of a contract. We're gonna grab field 38 and get the combine all set up here to go knock out some barley. It's been a minute since we used our grain header, so we'll just bring this corn head out of the shed here. I should be able to just drop her off right here. And with the grain header on here, we're gonna go and find our way out here to, was it field 38 that we need to go harvest on? So let's take a little bit of a road trip. I think it's not too far down the road here. I think we've just got to make it out to this big intersection at the end of this road and hang a left instead of a right, and we'll pretty much be there. Oh my goodness, our recording was off. I apologize, folks. We found our way out here to field 38, and we are starting to combine along the road ditch here. We had quite the squirrely driveway getting in here, but that's all right. We've got the large irrigation ditch here along the entire edge of this field, or both edges of this field, it looks like here. And so we had to go all the way down to the far end to get into the driveway. And so I'll show you guys that driveway when we get back around on the other side there. I probably could have started off a course play worker or something to do the harvest here while we went and got the truck or something, but it's been a minute since we just did everything on our own, and this field is, compared to most of the fields on this map, actually fairly square-ish. It's got a little bit of curve over here, but once we get the headlands off, I can always leverage a standard worker to knock some things out while I go and get the truck. I'm just hoping I can get all the way around without filling up. We're getting quite a bit of barley off of this field. We're already at 34% of our hopper filled up. So I'm not even sure we're gonna get the headlands off before I need to bring a truck out here. That's all right. It's all the higher chance that we may have some leftover barley for our hogs. I mean, at least I think barley was one of the crops that we were gonna be able to feed them. I hope so. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. But I guess money is money at this point. We need the dollars to keep our farm going. We're paying a lot of money in loan interest every day. If we pop open our finance screen, we're at $690,000 of debt right now, which is quite extensive. I think we're paying $3,000 a day or a month, I guess it would be, in loan interest. So that is definitely starting to add up. If we're not making a minimum of $3,000 in the month, we're actually falling behind. And that's the other major reason that I took on this contract. It'll give us that $3,000 we need to keep ahead of the bank. If we look at the hogs here, if we were to sell off, we've got 1,000 hogs here. Several of them, though, are newly born, so we're not going to make a lot of money on them. If we could get to $500 average on all of our hogs, we'd still be $1,000 in debt, or $100,000 in debt. We've got or 180 actually. So we need to get to $680 as the average selling price for our hogs if we just wanted to break even with the farm. And given that we are looking at taking some of our assets with us to the next farm to get our start, that's a problem for me. We're gonna need to figure out how we pay off the debt and have some money to start a new farm. Otherwise, our new start is going to be, well, not terribly interesting. I'm going to head down the side of the field here and take another headland pass off on the far end, and then hopefully set off a worker on this field. One of the big problems with this map with using normal hired workers is that the terrain goes in a slightly different angle than I think hiring a helper is going to want to drive in. I think if I were to hire a helper on this, that I wouldn't end up going in the same straight direction we're doing along the edge of this field right now. I think we're going to end up going at a angle like so, which is not going to be useful. We'll see here though. I'm going to test it out as we take off this headland pass right here. If I was to consider this a straight line, the helper wants to drive a little bit more at an angle like this, as you can see, which isn't actually terrible. So we can work with that. I'm going to turn that worker back off though. We're going to get this little strip that we missed. I just wanted to square up this field so I knew where the straight line was going to be with the worker. I've got 98% of the hopper full. I think we're going to be able to pick up this little bit, and we might as well just take a little bit more off of this angled bit until the hopper's actually full, like so. Put the pipe out, and we're gonna go grab the grain truck, and we'll just run this straight out to the field. I don't think I'm gonna bother with a grain cart for the contract here. The field isn't really big enough to be running stuff back and forth. I think the truck is going to be able to get out there without any problems whatsoever. We'll just work our way down the headland here and go unload that combine right where it's at, I think, because I do want to take off a little bit more of a headland pass all the way around the trees here. before we let the worker start doing its thing. And I'm backing up because I thought I wasn't under it, and then I realized I probably didn't leave the combine running. I do need the combine on to unload. And there we go. We'll go ahead and get this all dumped out before we start moving again, mostly because this thing just unloads quite rapidly. There we go. Well, let's get back to our headlands. I think 2 headland passes ought to be enough. We're not going to be struggling too much with the trees. We've got a little bit of grass on the side over here. Should work. Do a little bit of in-cab today. I always find it to be easier to do in-cab work when you're cutting grains like this as opposed to the corn head. I feel like is always a little bit harder to see what's going on because the corn is so tall coming up over the head. But this is working good. We're making good progress here. And it looks like this one road is the entrance to several fields, which is always kind of cool. We're going to make an attempt to square up this row using the worker here. I've got the hired helper on, and that's giving us the nice straight line here. Fix up some of the curvy bits we've got on the part that I was doing by hand. We might end up with the smallest little sliver here that we'll have to come back and clean up as we get towards the end of the field. That's all right. I'd rather deal with it now and get the worker going on a straight path here. Although it does look like this header has a little bit of a pickup on the outside of it, so we have lucked out. That's nice. We're already at 55% of the hopper full. Oh man, I was expecting this guy to be able to turn around without doing the backing up thing. I guess 2 headland passes just not quite enough for this guy. That's alright. We've really done a number on the headlands down here. Lots of compaction from driving our trucks and combine around and all that good stuff, but sometimes it just can't be helped. I'm going to head all the way down. We're going to turn around and get this guy parked, heading back out. I know the tarps are going to be on the wrong side, but I'd rather turn around now and not deal with it when the truck is all filled up. We'll leave it parked right on the road in the corner here, like so. And I'm kind of curious if we were to do another headland pass, if the combine would be more reasonable. Let me think about this here. I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna turn the helper off, and we're going to take him down and take another pass off. We'll see if this helps with the turning around because we don't have that big of a header on here, and that means that we are gonna be going at this field for just a while longer, and I want to make sure that we can do this the most efficient way possible. I'm thinking that this entire field is going to fit into the truck and trailer, so we're only going to need to make one haul up to the elevator, which will be nice. We won't need to make multiple trips up there. And as long as we're down here, we might as well take the headland pass back up. If 4 headland passes isn't enough to get this thing to turn around, I don't know what will be. It should leave us just about full when we get back up to the corner here as well, so we can go ahead and get emptied out into the grain truck, leaving us ready to head back over there to the other end of the field and take out those headlands. Ooh, we might not make it to the corner. We're so close. Not quite. Oh well, that's all right. We're gonna dump into the back hopper this time. That way, if we want to unload on the go, I might disconnect this pup trailer and just take the truck out there to unload the combine as we keep going here. That might be a viable option. There we go. And I'm gonna jump right back in here to the long row. I'm gonna see if I can get a GPS track going. No sense paying for a worker when we're here doing the work anyway. And you can see the worker, even though he did that weird backup thing, missed a huge chunk on the previous round. So I'm gonna go ahead and tackle the headlands like I did on the other side. We're gonna take 2 passes off on this side as well. Not that there's that many rounds left, but we've got to clean this up anyway. And he's just gonna miss it on the next passes over here, if I had to guess. So let's knock this out for him. Rather than continue around, I think I'm just going to back up and take another pass off of the headland here. It'll be a little bit easier. There we go. And since that bit that he missed was more than that 3rd pass, I think we do need to take a 4th headland pass off over here as well to get him turning around sufficiently. So we'll go ahead and do the 3rd pass along the trees here, since we're already facing that way. Might as well. It's not like we really have rows to worry about or anything. It's just wheat, so we can kind of just cut where we want. Not a big deal. One of the nice parts about different styles of farming, you don't really have to think about a row or going a certain direction when you're just cutting through a open field of wheat, or barley in this case. Now we've got a GPS track set up for going across this field, so I'm going to take the corner bit out here just to make sure we don't have any stragglers, and I'm going to see what GPS track 16 looks like if I were to get lined up on that. I think we're going to need to take a little bit off. This way we can use the same track as we go from here to the other end of the field. There we go. And we'll jump over here and just work on these short rows since I'm already down here. We'll head back up to that other side. We'll do the short rows manually here, and then we'll unload into the truck and let the worker take on a little bit of this. Our contract is now 60% complete, so we're getting there. Looks like we've almost wrapped up these short rows. I'm going to drop GPS off and hire a worker out. See if he's able to handle this now. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Alright, so while the worker figures that out, I'm going to go and disconnect the truck here, I think. And we'll try and unload on the go with the truck here once. Just to keep that combine moving. We've got enough capacity, I believe, in the truck to handle unloading once. Boom, dropped that right off. The combine is nearly full, so I'm hoping that the combine driver can make it down to the other end and I can follow it on its way back up here. See if the worker can figure out that it needs to go all the way down to the other end of the field here. Oh, there might be one more short row left. Yeah, didn't do the best job there. We'll have a little bit to clean up, it looks like, but we'll make it work. I'm more worried about just getting the grain out of the combine here so it can keep moving, hopefully. Well, there's more in the combine than I expected. We're getting full pretty quick. Well, I'll let that guy go. We're gonna knock out the rest of this field and we'll check back in shortly. We have our final strip here left. We ended up just a little bit off of our GPS course at one point, and so we've got to wrap this up. We'll have enough to, I think, top off the back of the truck. The front of the truck is full, so I went ahead and hooked it all back up there. And what's in the combine now will have to go into that back trailer. Hopefully we can get it all in. And the trick is going to be, as we run this up to the elevator, to try and hang on to a little bit of the leftover grain. We got to really be on the spot with shutting off the grain door so that we don't lose any excess that we got off of this field that we want to feed to our hogs. We want to just deliver enough to complete the contract. I'm almost certain all of this is going to fit into the truck. It might be close. We might end up with a couple bushels left in the combine. We'll see. I don't think so, though. There we go. I am going to bring the combine up here to the corner and leave it here. We'll jump in the truck and bring the truck down here to town to deliver the grain. You can see on the auto map there, we've got the contract symbol, so we know where to take it. And I suppose we should pull over here real quick, and I was going to say we should pull over here and tarp up the covers, but I can only get the cover on the front to open and close with N. I cannot for the life of me remember what key the other cover is. I thought it was Z, but that doesn't seem to be working either. Interesting. Oh well, we'll just be driving here with it open and see how that goes. I'm getting some really weird artifacting here as well, like weird pixelation in the middle of my screen. I don't know if that's this mod or what's going on. Something weird is going on today with Farm Sim. We've been having all kinds of little oddities as we're recording today's episode. I'm going to have to spend some time and look into that here at some point. But we're just about done with this contract, so I want to focus on getting our work done today. We'll deal with the technical issues at another time. Oh, and we're catching the train. Unfortunately, the delivery point that we need is the one right on the other side of the tracks, so we're gonna have to wait for just a second here. There we go. And I don't want to take this to the wrong spot, so I'm just gonna tag the dump point here just to make sure we're going the right way, which we are. We'll take this right in here dump the front load of barley here into this. We'll see how the contract progresses as we get the first hopper in. I'm really curious to see how much grain we're going to have left over, if any. There's the first bit. We're at 57% transported. Interesting. We're at 90%. I'm going to go back to the dump door, go a little slower. There we go, we're finished. I've got a whole 45 bushels left. Awesome. Well, I don't know that this was as successful as I was hoping in generating additional crops to feed our hogs, but we're gonna take it. I'm gonna toss this in there, we'll see what happens, and go from there. I'm almost positive I can put any kind of feed into our whatchamacallit, our hog enclosure, even though it's really set up to be fed from the feed trailer with the pig feed. I'm thinking I can dump it right into one of those silos. So I was thinking I could dump into these despite the fact that they're set up primarily for the feed trucks, but now that I'm here and looking at it, I think the only trigger is actually up at the top of the feed bins. Yeah, there's no other feed trigger here on the ground anywhere. I have to feed them through the feed truck, and the only way to get any of this into the feed truck is through the pig feed mill there. And so we got this 45 bushels of barley, and it's not going to be able to feed our hogs. That is sadly unfortunate. We're going to just make a couple bucks off of this, I suppose, but the real point here was to try and find a way to get some more food for our hogs, but it looks like the only feed that's going to work out for us is getting some more corn to run through our mill, or purchasing pig food and somehow getting it up there. We can't even purchase the pallets, I don't think. I would need pretty much just corn is my only option at this point with these hogs. Interesting. Well, we might as well hang on to the barley. It's going to come back up as we get into the fall. No sense selling it now. It's only 40 bushels. It can sit in the back of the trailer for the time being. And we might as well come in here and collect our contracts since we did finish that up. We've got a couple bucks now, but really I don't see a whole lot else for us to do to help our hogs along. We might as well just move the clock forward here to July and see what happens. We're at 46,500 liters. I'm going to move us to July at 10 o'clock and see where we're at. All right, we've moved a full day forward. We've used up some of our money here with the loans and all that good stuff. And holy buckets, we're down to 5,000 liters of food left. So we used up a good 40,000 liters of food getting through that month with all of these extra hogs. That's going to be a problem. So I think at a minimum here, we've got this 100 that are now at 925. We're going to sell them off, and that's not really going to help us out that much, but we'll have a bit of money at least, and we won't be draining all of our pig food. Looks like I can sell them 60 at a time, so I'm going to go ahead and sell this batch off. That's $52,000. Sell another 40 off. There's another 35. And so that puts us in a decent spot financially to pay down some of this loan, which we are going to do before I forget about it. That gets us to an even $600,000. But the unfortunate part is our poor hogs are going to run out of food by the end of the day today. And that means that they are going to stop moving forward here. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about this. We've got another 2.5 months of growth time that they're just going to stall out for and not move forward, which is really going to hurt our overall plans here. Man, I don't know. I feel like we need to take a look around and see if there's a placeable mod of some kind that I can put down in order to buy grains back from the market. I don't mind paying a current market price to get my hands on some corn so that we can make more feed for the animals. So I'm going to take a look around. I'm going to see if I can find some way to purchase either corn or pig food. I know you can buy bags of pig food here. I just don't know, I need 40 of these, so that'd be $40,000. That's just not very economical. Lots of thinking to do. I'll look around. I'll see what kind of mods I can find to hopefully buy some corn to get us through the next couple of months. And if not, our hogs are just going to get paused until we get more corn, and we'll have to finish them out in the fall months there. However, today has been fun. We knocked out a contract. We learned a little bit about the placeables we got on the farm, made some money, and we'll keep going. That's all for today. Kedrick out. Feed into that, despite the fact that it is set up to work with, whoa,